Hello, I hope you're having a great day. This video is about the present perfect continuous, a very important English tense. The present perfect continuous looks like this. How long have you been studying English? I have been studying English for 2 years. Generally speaking, we use the present perfect continuous tense to talk about action that started in the past and has continued up to the present. Generally speaking, we use the present perfect continuous tense to talk about action that started in the past and has continued up to the present moment and perhaps into the future. Like we have been studying. For positive sentences, the structure is as follows. Subject plus have or has plus been plus the main verb in the form of present participle. I have been working all day. Here is the structure of the present perfect continuous for negative sentences and question sentences. We'll start with negative. Subject plus have or has plus not plus been plus the main verb in the present participle. Jenny has not been reading. They have not been eating. Jenny hasn't been reading. They haven't been eating. You have the option of using a contraction between has not and have not. Here's the structure for question sentences in the present perfect continuous. Have or has plus subject plus been plus main verb in the present participle. Has Jenny been reading? Have they been eating? Here we do not use contractions unless we're asking a negative question. We could say, hasn't Jenny been reading? Haven't they been eating? Jenny has not been reading. They have not been eating. Has Jenny been reading? Have they been eating? Here are some examples of positive, negative, and question sentences side by side so that you can see the difference. Jenny has not been reading. Has Jenny been reading? Jenny hasn't been reading. They have not been eating. Have they been eating? They haven't been eating. For all of these sentences, we're talking about something that somebody has been doing in a past period of time until now. It's possible that they could continue doing this into the future. Here's another example. We'll start with this basic sentence. His hands are dirty. What has he been doing? Try to answer the question in the present perfect continuous. For example, he has been working in the garden. She's very tired. Has she been studying all day? She has been studying all day, so now she's very tired. We use the present perfect continuous tense to talk about action that started in the past and stopped recently. I'm tired because I've been lifting weights. Why is the road slippery? Has it been raining? You cannot pass the exam because you haven't been studying. We also use the present perfect continuous tense to talk about action that started in the past and is still continuing. How long have you been learning English? I've been teaching for 10 years. She hasn't been thinking clearly. These are actions that started in the past but are still continuing and will continue into the future. She's been working since 10 this morning. So this was a past action which continues to the present moment. Sometimes when we use the present perfect continuous, we use the words for or since. We use for to talk about a period of time. 3 hours, 2 months, 1 decade. We use since to talk about a point in past time. 9 o'clock, January 1st, or Monday. I'll give you an example of a sentence using for and then the same sentence using since. I have been studying for 3 hours. I have been studying since 3 p.m. Have you been eating healthy for 1 month? Have you been eating healthy since last month? Those are the basic rules for using the present perfect continuous tense. It's used to describe a past action that was continuing for some time and may be continuing at the present moment into the future. These are advanced rules. We usually use time expression with the present perfect continuous. For example, have you been studying for 3 hours? 3 hours is a time expression. She hasn't been playing basketball for more than a week. More than a week. In both these sentences, we explicitly mention the time. We don't use the present perfect continuous with state verbs. What are state verbs? State verbs are verbs that describe a state of being and not an action. For example, belong, know, like, or understand. The first one is not correct. I have been belonging to a church for 10 years. If we're using the state verb, we should simply use the present perfect. I have belonged to a church for 10 years. So state verbs are often not used with continuous tenses. Sometimes we can use the present perfect or present perfect continuous with very similar meanings, almost identical meanings. To talk about situations that exist until the present, we can sometimes use present perfect or present perfect continuous. I haven't been working here for long. I haven't worked here for long. They have almost the same meaning, and it's very hard to distinguish the difference in expression here. When we talk about the result of a situation, we use the present perfect. However, when we focus on the process, we use the present perfect continuous. What if we're talking about the economy? The economy has improved by 5% since 2010. That is the present perfect tense, has improved. We use it because we're talking about the result of that improvement. The economy has been improving since 2010. In the second sentence, we use present perfect continuous, has been improving, because we want to focus on the process of improvement. We often use the present perfect continuous to say that an activity is ongoing or repeated, and we use the present perfect to specify that the activity only happened a particular number of times. Look at the two sentences. He's been playing for the Toronto Raptors for 1 year. He's played 50 games for the Toronto Raptors. In the first sentence, we use present perfect continuous because this activity is ongoing and repeated. In the second sentence, we use the present perfect because this activity has happened a specified particular number of times, 50 games. He's played 50 games for the Toronto Raptors. That's the end of the advanced rules for the present perfect continuous. Let's go into a short quiz to test your knowledge. This is multiple choice. Please pause the video and find the answer. All right, I hope you're ready. I'll tell you the answer. She has been studying English for 3 years. Do the same for this one. Have you been watching TV all day? Pause the video. The answer is, who has been eating all of my chocolate chip cookies? Are you ready? What time have you been playing basketball this week? For this one, we say, ever since I moved to Canada, I have been studying for 5 hours every day. Okay, this is fill in the blank. Look at the verb and put it in the correct sentence in the correct form. I'll give you some time to do that. Pause the video, please. Okay, I hope you're ready. I'll tell you the answers. I have been preparing dinner all evening. They have been cleaning the hotel rooms for the past 2 hours. Ever since I moved to Indonesia, I have been studying Bahasa Indonesia. We are stronger now. We have been going to the gym every night. She has been eating too much recently, and now she is out of shape. That's the end of our discussion on present perfect continuous. I hope you learned something. Stick around for the rest of the course, and good luck studying.